world, welcome back to Beta Asset Financial, a channel created by a data viz pro and a financial whiz who recently just got back into Magic the Gathering. In this episode, I'll walk through my third unboxing video, where I'll crack open this box of Masters 25 and provide a real-ish time play-by-play on the value that I'm getting in the rare/mythic slots and the foil slot. Recall that given in any box, we'll only ever get one of each of these cards, and that the visual tool in front of you is not currently equipped to track multiple instances of the same card. We're limited to tallying up these 48 cards, but I will speak to some of the more notable uncommons throughout the video for added context, because there's a lot of value here, especially within this specific set. Also, though the structure of these videos is going to change from box to box as I stick and weave and sort of figure out how the best way to lay this information out is, the overarching narrative is going to stay the same. How much am I roughly able to get back from the singles in these packs, and how does that stack up to my base cost of about $160 a box? Lastly, at the end of this unboxing segment, I'm going to summarize the performance of these first three boxes to give you all a few key insights on what I'm seeing in the price action of the Masters series as a whole, and how I'm using that information to guide my decision making. So stay tuned for that portion, as the insights we're unlocking in this information I'm sure is going to be helpful for most of you to be able to manage your trade binders. So that's enough out of me. Let's just start the unboxing process, shall we? In my first few packs, I crack open a Grenzo Dungeon Warden, followed up by a Mystic Snake, but it's not until pack 3 that I'm able to turn this around completely with two solid uncommons in Utopia Sprawl and Lightning Bolt. I'll take Lightning Bolts all day, followed by a Master of the Wild Hunt as my first mythic, and a foil Pendelhaven to close. So pack 3 essentially giving me back all of the value that I lost in the first two packs that I opened. As I placed the card in my trusty card holder, I then opened pack 4, and I'm happy to see the Simian Spirit Guide in the uncommon window, followed by a Hell's Caretaker, which I'm not too thrilled about. Pack 5 is equally uneventful, with some bulk taking up the rare and foil slots again, but in pack 6 we get the Elid Mari's Call for a nice $3 bill. So, being 6 packs in, we've gotten about a quarter way through the box, but have only really recovered about 1/8 of the total cost of the box thus far, so not a great start. Happy to see a Boros Charm and Strionic Resonator in the next pack, but neither really helps the cause by much, and it's not until pack 8 till we get our first real rare of note in Pact of Negation, with a foil Street Wrath to boot, giving us about $24 worth in trade value between these two cards alone. The momentum continues as we go back to back on notable cards, pulling a Rishadan Port, but disappointed to see our first foil rare in Izzet Kemster, not the type of foil rare you want to see when you're third way through the box and have this much ground to cover. That said, we do get a little boost here with a couple solid uncommons again in Swiftfoot Boots and Utopia Sprawl, which is then closed out by the $7 Cascade Bluffs to round out pack number 10. Pack 11, classic nickel and dime scenario with a couple of uncommons that help inch our way to the green, with Red Elemental Blast and Swords of Plowshares, and our second mythic in Doomsday, but a crappy one at that. By the halfway mark, we pull the fabulous Decree of Justice, and I swear to you, having opened up about 9 boxes thus far, I can confirm that I've gotten at least one of these in each box that I've opened. So, frustrating to see this card so consistently across the board. Next up, we pull my second Street Wrath and a Protean Hulk in the rare slot, giving me about another $5 in value. We follow this up with an Ancient Stirrings and an Elvish Piper for another $5 in value. And we go for the trifecta here on the 1-for-1 solid uncommon to OK rare ratio with a Swiftfoot Boots and Miko Chorus of the Sea, which at this point I'm more than happy to take because I'm essentially taking what I can get at this stage. Now I do remember thinking to myself at this point that I was convinced I was due for a really massive pull vis-a-vis a foil Jace or double fisting and ensnaring bridge and Chalice of the Void combo, given that this was the third box I've opened, and the cards that I've opened up until this point using March 1st prices pegs me to about $80, at the $80 mark, and so I was convinced I was going to turn things around a bit. And then finally, upon opening pack number 16, with a Vesuvian Shapeshifter and pack 17 with a Conflux, I get not that. So again, not super thrilled, but gotta get through it, and so we'll continue on here. My luck does start to change a bit here with the next 2 packs. As you'll see, I managed to squeeze out a Twilight Mire and a Vendilion Click, bringing me to a just north rather of $110 in value. And then of course, no Masters 25 box of mine is complete without the Laquandrius' Champion, giving us an additional whopping 40 cents to round out my value. In the final 4, I squeeze out another Boris Charm and a Blood Moon for a $20 bill. Some bulk in pack 22, not worth mentioning. I get a Summoner's pack in the second last pack, and finally Blue Sun Zenith and a foil Boros Charm to close out box number 3. So my aggregate value estimated on this box posts a loss of about $11 using March 1st prices. The first loss thus far, and now I'm 0 for 3 on the JACE front. Not a great box, but again, had fun cracking this open.
So let's do a quick summary on some of the more notable pulls here, starting with some of the uncommons that I was able to snapshot immediately after I opened the box. These cards exceed generally $2 in trade value. And so we had a couple of Simian Spirit Guides, a couple of Street Wraths, a Bolt, and Ancient Stirrings. We also have pulled a handful of Swords Plowshares and Utopia Sprawls, all of which, again, will help increment our way to break even. And as far as the top rares or the top notable foils, we've got 7 here of note that I've snapshot here. Cascade Bluffs, Pact of Negation, Rishan Ports, Foil Street Wrath, the Boros Charm, the Blood Moon, and the Vendilion Click, all of which at the time that I opened the box would have fetched me about $88 in value, give or take. Using a more pricing grid, and the latest version of pricing that I have loaded into this model is April 12th, 2019, you'll see that that value increases by $5 to $94. So again, not to beat a dead horse, but prices of this set continues to grow. The boxes haven't really moved, and so it's just a good environment for me to be cracking these open. And you know, I'm happy to sit on the bulk commons and uncommons. They're going to collect dust, but you know, our ability to overcome this cost hurdle is much easier to do now than it was 4 weeks ago, and which was easier than 4 weeks before that, which was easier than a year before that. So, you know, point is that as these prices continue to spike, it just makes less sense to hold sealed at this price point. And yeah, to wrap this up, I did also want to debrief or showcase this last splash page that I had built that basically summarizes the 3 boxes that I've posted so far. And just to reaffirm that messaging, here you're seeing the first 3 boxes using the 48 cards in each box that I've cataloged in sequence. I've anchored this to March 1st, 2019 prices. So again, average cost of box, $106, all-in cost, $480. If I tally up all of the 48 cards that I've logged, I get about $588 in value, which represents about $100 and change in total quote-unquote gains. This does not include the commons and uncommons in the sets, which obviously, on average, we're probably going to be adding anywhere from $20 to $30 each box. But again, to reinforce the point I was making, if I look at the latest prices that I've loaded into my model for April 19th, 2019, you see how that goes from a $108 gain to a $182 gain. So again, not to beat a dead horse, as I mentioned before, prices of the underlying cards continue to skyrocket, and so I'd rather just open up boxes because it's fun, and the ability for me to break even is much, much easier to do in this environment. You'll see here, if I just kind of play with this, you'll see like the first 3 boxes about a month ago at $210, $230, $150. Using the latest prices, it goes $240 to $260 to $160. So again, this is something that I'm monitoring constantly. I'm able to cycle through these cards pretty quickly, and so you know, until I'm proven wrong, I'm gonna keep doing this. And so thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and everybody be safe out there and happy hunting. Cheers.